Nanti kalau Bernardo udah ada, setelah kita ngobrol-ngobrol, kita masukin dia dulu ya. Saya ini nanti dia ya.
Yang di waiting room mau di hold sampai
Tunggu. Ya, tunggu sebentar. Kalau sudah ini baru kita ini masuk ya.
Oke.
Jadi semua sudah oke ya, maksudnya dari ini kalian sudah oke ya.
Herman, slide aman man. Agak soalnya nggak masuk.
Oh, ada Universitas Indonesia yang ngikutin ya?
Agak soalnya nggak masuk kan?
Agak background kamu juga belum ketukar. Oh, ada ini ya, ada Universitas Indonesia juga ya. Agak your sound.
Halo?
Ya,
Ya,
ada
udah
bagus
masuk ya?
background kamu nggak kelihatan. Coba buka aja dulu semua kamera supaya kita sudah bisa lihat gimana kita bisa ini nggak. Sudah ada background kita nggak? Udah cukup bagus. Oke, Pak Arif udah bagus tapi masih kameranya masih belum bagus.
No idea.
Ya.
Iya Pak, untuk background tadi juga saya belum bisa ya.
Yeah, try again. Okay, we have another few minutes.
Oke.
Kita masih ada 8 menit. Nggak bisa lewat ya, kalau udah itu kita harus masuk semua ya. Supaya mereka jangan terlalu lama nunggu. Oke, agak nice. Nice, can see you now. Oh, ada ini ya, Universitas Indonesia ada yang kalian invite ya?
Ada Pak, dari teman-teman saya ada yang kenal juga.
Ya, bagus.
Kayaknya sayanya ganti baju.
Ya.
Wah.
Abang Lee, ada apa-apa Bang yang kita nih prepare? Ada lagi?
Ada,
Abang punya suara tak sebab apa nih Bang? Coba mungkin Abang punya speaker kok.
ini clear.
Oke, clear.
Nah itu bagus nggak?
Iya. Mantap gitu. Kayak mau olahraga Mas.
Agak jangan tegang-tegang ya, pokoknya ini aja masuk bahasa Indonesia campur aja ya supaya kita ini.
Apa Mas?
Jangan tegang-tegang nanti campur aja bahasa Indonesianya. Ya.
Kita tengok audien dulu. Kalau tengok audien itu yang daripada Arab dengan India itu tak ada masuk lagi, dia santai pakai bahasa kita aja.
Boleh.
Enggak man, enggak play. Belum play videonya. Oke. Mas. Iya.
Nggak bagus suaranya.
Kalau bisa ditelepon ya.
Oke.
orang-orangnya udah bisa buat masuk ya, biar lihat video juga intro.
Kalau kita sudah oke ininya, kayaknya kasih masuk aja partisipan dulu. Atau gimana Pak Gor? Mungkin ada ini sebelum ini? Nggak kedengaran Pak?
Oh, iya Pak Yanto, ini nggak apa-apa sambil masuk aja. Kita ajak ngobrol dulu.
Mulai dari videonya mulai dari awal kalau gitu. Kalau mau kasih masuk orang ya. Sudah ada semua kayaknya tuh. Pak Eka belum ada.
Iya. Pak Arif di ini aja, di admit aja. Welcoming satu-satu nanti baru formalistisnya.
Iya, mulai dari awal videonya bagus sekali. Kayaknya bentar ya. Sudah nggak ada apa-apa lagi Pak ya. Pak Bang Suhaili sudah kita bisa start ya Pak Suhaili.
Ya boleh.
Kayaknya invite aja masuk ya. Ada apa lagi?
Ya boleh edit tuh. Sudah lama ya 26 partisipan itu.
Sudah bisa ini ya. Agak kasih masuk aja. Nanti baru mulai lagi nih. Atau gimana Pak Gor?
Iya, dikasih masuk aja Pak. Kita welcome satu-satu nanti sebelum itu bisa official lagi.
Saya yang admin ya. Saya lihat ini.
Ini aja.
Boleh? Boleh ya. Aku kasih masuk semua ya.
Ya, boleh Pak Yanto.
Ya.
Oke, selamat malam kepada seluruh peserta. Cek, apa suara saya terdengar? Rekan-rekan sekalian.
Terdengar jelas Pak Eka.
Oke. Sudah menunjukkan pukul 7. Kita akan mulai. Wah, ini sudah banyak nih yang masuk nih. Halo semua rekan-rekan peserta dari seluruh Indonesia dan mancanegara. Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kok masih ada yang ditunggu nih rekan kita nih? Masih banyak yang belum masuk ya kayaknya ya?
Iya, masih ada kita ini. Kasih
Masih
2-3
kita
menit.
tunggu 2 menit lagi ya?
Ya.
Biar pas 19:05 di isian.
Ya, boleh Pak.
Oke. Kita sudah masuk nih dua-duanya. Selamat malam Pak Yanto Majid. Selamat malam juga
Malam, Pak.
Pak Suhaili, Pak Gorga,
Malam.
David, dan rekan-rekan sekalian. Semoga kita semua dalam keadaan sehat selalu.
Malam Pak Kak.
Kalau di sini jam 7:05 nih, berarti di Malaysia lebih 1 jam ya berarti ya Pak Yanto dan Pak Suhaili ya?
Benar. Ya, kita
Ya.
jam 8 di sini.
Ya benar.
Oke. Ya, 1 menit terakhir nih sampai kita nunggu mulai. Kayaknya pembahasan webinar malam ini akan menarik nih. Ya. Karena ini apa ya? Satu webinar yang memang menurut saya sih penting kita pahami, kita ketahui untuk di bidangnya itu oil and gas. Oh, dari mancanegara juga sudah join. Good evening, Mr. Hazel Raditya Mizumareru. Kita yang dari mancanegara juga. Saya lihat-lihat sambil kita nunggu mulai. Oke, kayaknya bisa kita mulai ya, Bapak-Bapak sekalian ya.
Silakan.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you to all attendants to this webinar. It's great to see you all. And I'm Wardia Eka as a moderator for this webinar. And Alhamdulillah, in this event could happen in collaboration between pro worker from Indonesia and Exim Solution from Malaysia. This topic for evening in this webinar is be conducted for introduction to hazardous area requirement. Before we start for this webinar, I'm glad to introduce Mr. David as a representative from Pro Worker to introduce about pro worker. Untuk Mr. David, dipersilakan waktu dan tempat. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Eka. Hello everyone. Sangat senang ya to see all of us here. And I'm David dari Pro Worker. Big appreciate ya untuk semuanya, untuk semangatnya, all of you, and also thanks to our speaker, Mr. Yanto and Mr. Suhaili. And I'll be presenting about Pro Worker. We claim ourselves as the perfect vehicle for your dream career. And it means that we build Pro Worker based on pemahaman or experience di engineering services di berbagai macam industri, terutama di oil and gas. Upaya kami atas tiap-tiap problem, upaya kami untuk atasi tiap-tiap problem ketenaga kerjaan dengan segala permasalahannya dan segala solusi yang kami berikan membawa kami untuk fokus on being a safe and appropriate platform for workers from all over the world to be able to work professionally everywhere. Dan in some moment kami mengalami beberapa permasalahan kami, yaitu juga kurangnya kualifikasi talent yang cukup langka untuk permintaan tertentu, dan juga akhirnya membawa kami untuk mengadakan pelatihan yang kami rasa perlu untuk diadakan di Indonesia, dan sangat penting dan cukup banyak permintaannya akan posisi-posisi yang kami buka trainingnya, kami adakan pelatihannya. Dan salah satunya yaitu IECEx sertifikat ini, yaitu sertifikasi untuk IEX Inspector yang akan dibawakan oleh Mr. Yantho and Mr. Suhaili. And that's all from me. Please enjoy the webinar series tonight.
Oke, terima kasih Mr. David. Jadi Pro Worker ini salah satu pionir ya Mr. David ya di bidang oil and gas. Oke, tanpa basa-basi lagi ya, I will introduce our speaker nih, biar teman-teman semuanya kenal juga ya. Oh ya, malam ini kita sersan lah ya, serius tapi santai, jadi biar apa yang nanti kita lihat, kita dengarkan gitu dari para speaker bisa jadi satu ilmu yang kita terima gitu. Oke, for the first speaker is Mr. Suhaili Jahilan. Oke, Mr. Suhaili Jahilan. Oke, next the slide. Mr. Host, maybe you can.
Terima kasih Pak Ika. Kita mulakan dengan Pak Yanto dulu. Then let's introduce himself first, and then I will continue the full slide.
Okay. Mr. Yanto Majid.
Okay.
Please.
Need my slide, yeah. The ice breaking.
Yeah.
Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Selamat malam semuanya. Very good evening. I see ladies and gentlemen tonight. My name is Yanto Majid. I'm from Malaysia and I'm from Exim Solution. Yeah, why I on my slide written ice breaking? Hey, Pak John Tree, Horace, yeah, I saw you there. Yeah, okay. Why we call ice breaking? Because I just want to introduce myself, and then yeah, I will telling a little bit of my experience of IECEx personal. Competent person. Yeah. So just let you know, guys, I starting my career in oil and gas year 2000, early 2000, yeah, as a electrician. I'm starting from very below. I start from helper, and then I'm also doing electrician, technician, pulling cable and everything. Yeah. So when I get experience as a E&I, I'm also doing a supervisor job. But that time I thought I'm very expert. Ya, saya sudah memikirkan bahwa saya sudah cukup hebat waktu itu karena saya sudah tahu electrical dan instrumentation, bahkan saya juga terlibat dalam fire and gas dan sebagainya. Ketika itu saya belum punya IECEx kompetensi, jadi waktu orang-orang foreigner boleh datang ataupun orang-orang yang punya kompetensi itu, kita lihat mereka, wow, mereka ini hebat sekali ya. Kenapa saya ceritakan ini? Supaya kalian berminat. Sebelum kita masuk ke slide seterusnya, nanti saya punya colleague, Mr. Suhaili, akan terangkan ya. So everybody, are you okay when I speak Indonesia, English, mix a little bit? Is it guys, are you okay? Okay ya? Okay. Sounds good ya. Aku mau ya. Jadi pada waktu itu saya merasa bahwa saya sudah cukup bagus ya, tahu segregation gimana pulling cable, running tubing dan install of equipment. Nah, pada waktu kami melakukan pekerjaan waktu diintroduce di Malaysia, waktu proyek Gumusut Kakap saudara ya, waktu itu saya melihat banyak bule-bule yang datang ya, foreign coming to Malaysia, and they have that expertise as a EX inspector. I'm also surprised that time because we work very hard, and I saw them also come to site, but they just bring a piece of paper, or they just bring their tools and take photo and then go back to the office. Aku jadi tertanya-tanya, what actually they're doing gitu ya. Aku tertanya-tanya, apa mereka punya posisi? Kenapa cuma datang di site, ambil foto dan pulang ke office gitu ya. So waktu itu saya bekerja dengan Pak Gorga juga ada waktu itu ya, yang punya Pro-Workers saat ini ya, sama-sama Pak Gorga waktu itu. Jadi saya mulai tertanya-tanya, dan ya biasa ya, kita manusia, we are human, we wanted to know. Aku kan suka bertanya, aku tanya sama bule itu, temanku juga, itu apa posisinya? When they said they are EX inspector, ya kita biasa manusia, jujurlah ya, di dalam saya lihat ini Pak Jontri ada yang sudah pengalaman di site, dan Bernardo ada di sini. Kalau kita melihat orang itu, kita mulai bertanya, wih hebat dia kerjaan begini. Mereka datang cuma ambil foto, pulang ke kantor, mereka pulang ke ini kasih laporan gitu. Nah saya tanya, karena saya bilang, itu kira-kira berapa gajinya? I'm sorry, I had to tell you this guys, supaya kalian encourage ya. Jadi waktu itu ya gaji kita di Malaysia ya cukup bagus juga saudara ya. Tim it's about ya kalau uang Indonesia sekitar 2 juta lebih lah ya per day. Tapi kita tanya bule itu berapa gajinya? Kita kaget, mereka punya daily rate itu sampai 12 juta sampai 15 juta per day. Saya bilang, itu kualifikasi apa mereka ada? What does they have? Ya jadi waktu saya mulai tahu bahwa kita harus competence, we have to be a competent person for us to able to do this. So I'm working with the team, commissioning. I'm working with a startup team. I'm working a few trade in oil and gas. So pingin tahu. But 2016, ladies and gentlemen, I took IECEx and I passed my exam as IECEx, and really reasonable for me ya, sangat masuk akal buat saya. Saya ambil tahun 2016 dan saya pas ya. Saya ambil waktu itu saya punya colleague Mr. Suhaili ini banyak mengajar saya karena beliau ini lebih pioneer daripada saya. Nah, waktu saya qualified, saya masuk ke project namanya Shell Malikai ya. Jadi setelah Gumusut ada namanya Shell Malikai. Saya waktu itu bekerja sebagai EX inspector. Nah kan kita dulu kaget. Saya cerita ini supaya kalian encourage ya. Jadi waktu saya masuk di situ, saya mulai demand gaji. Ya saya mulai demand gaji saya. Saya minta waktu itu per day saya ya, this is apa ya main ya. So saya minta sekian. Waktu dia bilang approve itu saya mulai kaget. Wow, I get this amount. Karena apa? Karena saya punya sertifikat IECEx kompetensi. Nah, itu di awal 2016 kami sekitar 11 orang yang qualified dan saya minta gaji yang cukup luar biasa. So implementation, when I know this is very important, I encourage my friend. Saya encourage teman-teman supaya ambil. Nah, kalau kita referring di PTS 13.40.1 ya 2016 itu Petronas sudah meletakkan ini sebagai satu prosedur ya untuk setiap proyek yang ada di Malaysia itu harus ada kompetensi IECEx. I do believe this will be applying also in Indonesia. I believe Singapore. I went to Europe. Ya, aku kerja di gas plant di Georgia di Europe. Ya, and I'm coming back to Bergading. Ya, cari gali. I'm coming back, and then I still get a good paid. I believe what do you call that? This a few of you guys in this di dalam seminar ini ada seperti Bernard ada. Kita itu bisa demand kalau kita punya sertifikat dan kita tahu melakukan pekerjaan. Yeah, so that's why I'm really thank to pro workers, Pak Gorga. We have to encourage people outside there to be a competent. Yeah, so later on in Indonesia when we conduct competency, you guys able to join. Yeah, so you guys can see from 2016 I joined about 7 projects. I'm not including there's a few work that I do just like inspector kalau inspektor itu just daily inspector itu banyak sekali. Jadi saya sudah melakukan sekitar 7 dan I can able to what do you call that asking my price sampai begitu. And I do believe banyak teman-teman kita di Batam orang-orang Indonesia yang sekarang sudah demand ya. Itu di kompetensi kompleks, ethics dan IHA dan sebagainya. Kalau saya sudah ngecek semuanya di web ya, I don't even see one of Indonesian yang ada IECEx. Ya kenapa? Mungkin hal ini baru, tapi we have to bring and share to Indonesian people how important this one, because most of the project will coming to Indonesia like Rasgas or Sophia project or any project will come up, they will referring on IECEx. Yeah, remember guys, when you guys have a IHA or complex, but the book still referring to IEC. So this is very important. Why I encourage you guys is it's about IECEx, because this will drive you in one place that you never thought before. Kalau kalian sudah punya IECEx, I do believe you guys will be in the market. Yeah, there's a Bernardo, there's a Pak Jontri, there's a few guys in this line at the moment that have certificate from Australia. They are very valuable on the market. Mereka bisa demand berapa gaji. Kalau kita yang tidak punya sertifikat kompetensi, kita nggak bisa demand. Kita nggak bisa demand apa-apa ya. Jadi kalau kita cuma melihat orang datang bahwa mereka able to do this, tapi kita nggak bisa. Kenapa? It's about competency. So tonight we will talk details. Not so details, but we will talk about IECEx. My colleague, Mr. Suhaili, will go through how important IECEx in this oil and gas industrial, yeah, refinery, upstream, downstream project. And Indonesia will be booming very soon. Indonesia will leading oil and gas. I do believe I even listening Pak Jokowi and Pak Erick Thohir even mentioned in 15 years Indonesia nggak mau lagi import minyak ya, mau ekspor karena mereka sudah bisa manage sendiri. So why I'm telling you this, because there's a lot of refinery in Indonesia will build, and then this is very important. When you guys are already competent in this IECEx, you can work and you can demand. Yeah, you can demand, and then you can help people to taking care of the power plant, the platform. Karena kalau kita sudah mengerti keselamatan, kita pasti kita bisa sharing. Yeah, so I do believe tonight everybody in this meeting room or Zoom room, you guys free. Kita feel home, karena kenapa saya cerita ini, supaya kita encourage to take IECEx, ya. That we will be conduct very soon in Jakarta and Batam, ya. I think that's it from my ice breaking. I will leave it my colleague Mr. Suhaili to explain not so detail about IECEx, yeah. Okay, please, Mr. Suhaili, my colleague.
Yes, thank you, Pak Yanto. Good night, everybody. Selamat malam. Let me introduce myself. My name is Suhaili from Exim Solution, colleague from Mr. Yanto. Actually, we are the first pioneer IECEx in Malaysia. Mr. Yanto joined us in 2016, but me as a pioneer in Malaysia, we started on 2008. Then, as a pioneer, a lot of work of me to try to build IECEx scheme in Malaysia, including to assist CIRIM in Malaysia as well, for build their certification body certifications. Okay. As tonight, I'll be brief or bring you all about the requirement on the hazardous area. As my colleague said, because of IECEx inspector requirement is more required day by day as today industry, especially in oil and gas industry. We see tremendous requirement on that particular position. For time being, what we can say, or we can say that IECEx inspector is very shortage all around the Southeast Asia and also in the world actually. So as today, before we go to the how to obtain the IECEx certification, I'll be give you an overview. What is about hazardous area? Okay, as we can see the slide, hazardous area actually is around our vicinities, day and day activities, our day by day activities. You can see this tanker doing an operation of bunkering of BBM ataupun bahan bakar. Boleh kita nampak, you can see that particular process is involving flammable substance, whichever might be diesel, might be gas or gasoline or whatever substance, which is involving vapor and gas substance inside their process area or within that vicinity. You can see that this vapor or gas has potentially ignite by process. I mean that process within that process may be produce a spark, heat or generated by these activities will lead to incidents. Okay. Next slide, Mr. Ika. Okay. Incident means if we lead to explosion, is potentially involving this industry as a listed in this industry. For sure, oil and gas and drilling industry, fuel storage and car manufacturing, power generation, distiller, aviation, painting, whatever you can list it. Water treatment, even food manufacturing. Okay. Have you seen that if you browse in YouTube, you can find that food manufacturing also have a potential explosion of their process. Like say baby powder or baby milk powder can be linked to the explosion as well. This industry will be grown and requirement on that particular inspection as tell by Mr. Yanto or Pak Yanto will be grow tremendously. that will be requirement will be increased all over the world, not only on our region actually. Because what? Okay, moderator, next slide. Okay, you can see this photo. This is a deep horizon. I think everybody know why deep horizon is a good example. This is a tragedy. Because of this tragedy, we lost of person, loss of fatal of person, loss of asset and everything. Even though the root cause is a small matter, but the effect of this incident is very big. This should be we address the risk, and we should control this this activity actually, because we want to avoid of the incident happen to our working place or our plant. Okay, the next slide, please.
Sedang ada gangguan slide-nya.
Ada gangguan ya?
Iya.
Bentar ya.
Oke, jadi mungkin sudah muncul.
Oke, next slide please.
Oke. Next slide, Mr. Herman.
Oke, tuan-tuan, as a slide here, this is the facts about the deep horizon disaster. You can see all the effect or cost to be bear by the plant owner or platform owner. You can imagine what can be happen if the small matter, like you say, of EX requirement is not addressed accordingly to the standard and the company SOP, what can is called SOP, standard operation procedure. Because of small matters, can be said that company doesn't want to pay the EX inspector for the inspection schedule, everything. This the cost what they will have to pay about the disaster. This is why, as a Pak Yanto bicara tadi, is why the EX inspector getting high paid on that particular expertise, because the plant owner or the company want to avoid of this disaster, and then they also want to avoid the loss of the capital. I mean the money matters. Okay. All right. The next slide. Okay. Why the explosion can be happen? It's a very simple. If you take a look in the fire triangle below there, fire triangle di bawah tu ya Pak. Ada 3 elemen. They have 3 elements there. We call it a flammable substance, which is in the photo there is petrol there. It's the flammable substance or bahan bakar itu sendiri. And then the presence of oxygen, kehadiran oksigen ya. Kemudian sumber spark ataupun sumber energinya. Di satu sisi triangle itu source of ignition. This might be sparking, heat, or excessive energy. Once this fire triangle is complete, there this will be ignition will be happen. That's why this we need to understand the fire triangle in basic safety concepts. And the concept is we need to eliminate one of the things to complete the triangles. Okay. So on this EX explosion or EX protection method is a method about how to mitigate this, how to control this fire triangle by controlling by engineering practice or engineering design. Okay, next slide, please. All right, because of the physical of the flammable substance have the properties, they call it physical, they have a lower and upper limit of limit level, because like for example LEL, if the presence of the vapor or gas is not sufficient into the atmosphere, this will be not lead the ignition will be happen. This is a means of the LEL. Bermaksudnya kalau bahan bakar itu hadir di satu tempat tu, walaupun dia hadir di kawasan tersebut, tetapi jumlahnya amat sedikit, the ignition will not be happen. Dia tidak akan berlakunya kebakaran. Okay, maksudnya LEL ini. Kemudian we goes to UEL, upper exposure limit. This means if you have the flammable substance but the concentration is very high, this also will not lead the ignition will be happen. Bermaksud dia punya kandungan bahan bakar terlampau pekat ataupun konsentrasinya terlalu tinggi, will be eliminate the ignition ataupun dia tidak akan berlaku juga kebakaran. This is a basic of properties of equipment, basic of property of material actually. Okay, this is something yang you need to understand and beforehand why this flammable substance physics happen like this. Okay, okay, next slide please. Right, this is an example of exposure limit of the particular substance. We have here methane, propane, ethylene, acetylene, and hydrogen. You can see the percentage of the LEL and UEL itself of the particular substance. It will be slightly different on this particular type of material. You can see methane is LEL is 5%, and then you can see hydrogen is 4%, and ethylene 2.7, which is mean every single particular substance will be not same the physical of particular material, which means the initial limit will be depending of LEL and UEL of the material itself. Bermaksudnya jika kita ada beberapa bahan ataupun beberapa jenis bahan ataupun gas yang kita ada di kawasan itu, secara fiziknya sudah dikaji ataupun sudah di-study oleh studied by physician, the EL and UEL of this compound is different between them. This is a particular value that already studied by scientists or petrochemists. Okay, we go to the next slide. And also, yes, this one, another one. Beside of we have a LEL and UEL, the temperature also another element need to be considered, because why temperature is important. The physical of the material, like example before this previous slide, we have hydrogen, we have methane. They have particular, what do you call it, AIT, auto ignition temperature. Okay, that could be different on between the compound itself or between the material itself. Okay, we can see the next slide. Okay, this because we call it in hazardous area classification, we call it T rating. Let's say on the further later, I will explain how the related temperature in the temperature itself with the material itself. Okay, this is T rating in hazardous area classification. This refer to the what is the auto ignition temperature, which is once that a material or gas reach that temperature, that gas or that material will be ignite auto ignite, we call it. This means, let's say we have methane, we have 400 C. If that methane is reaching that temperature, that gas will be ignite by itself. This we call as AIT. Or that's why we need to classify this gas or this material into the T rating in the hazardous area classifications. Okay, the next slide. Okay, this is a particular of temperature rating. We call it in the hazardous area classification. Okay, before that, on the hazardous area, we call it a hazardous area classification because we need to identify the material, everything what in our process area. That's why we need to do system. We call it hazardous area classification. At the first place, we need to classify into the temperature class. Okay, this is typical temperature class. We can see that particular differential between NEC standard and IECEx standard. Normally IECEx will or IC will follow IECEx temperature class. We can see T1 here. T1 will be referring to 450 degrees C or 842 Fahrenheit. This will be classified what the gas type or material type will be lit in self-ignite or AIT in that ratio of temperature. It's a mean of T1 of the hazardous area code. Okay? And so on. We have T2, T3, T4, and until T6. Okay, you can see here T6 is ranging from 85 degree to 100 actually 100 C. Okay, this is a very flammable material actually. If that hazardous area will be classified as T6, but in actual process area we rarely ataupun kita jarang-jarang kita jumpa yang hazardous area will be classified as a T6. Normally we will be use a T3 or T4 normally. Okay, next slide. Right, this is a typical temperature class that will be classified by petrochemists. This will be referred to IEC -20. You can see if you can refer to the standard, you can get this particular information in the standard as well. Okay. This particular standard you can refer with. Okay, next slide. Okay, beside the temperature class, if you have a gas area, which is the process plant involving gas or vapor, normally the hazardous area classified will be separate into the subgroup, or we call it gas grouping. We have a group number 2, group number 3, and group number 1 actually. Right? Basically for group 2, we have divide into 3, to A, to B, to C, which means what is the group bearing ataupun apa maksud yang dia tersendiri untuk subgroup because of dia punya LEL and UEL level tadi. Kalau kita bisa refer kembali yang slide yang awal tadi, saya ada bicara tentang LEL ataupun UEL. Inilah disebabkan dia punya perbezaan grouping of material yang tersebut. Let's say we have gas group 2A here, then the level of LEL and UL will be like this. This is more simpler to we identify the gas material and grouping as well. This give some idea to the designer how to conclude this area and how to identify this risk of this area actually. That's why they have divided into the three grouping. And also some element that take consider is energy level of this substance. How many joule required or how many energy level required to ignite of this material of gas. Okay. This only ini hanya basic penerangan saja. These are only basic explanation. If you want more detail, that will be explained on the training during if you roll on in the training. Okay, we can elaborate more how that they are simplified or grouping of this hazardous area. Okay, next slide. Right. For summary, how this gas group will be classified or segregated because of their risk tendency. Because as you can see, gas group 2C, 2B, and 2A, you can see 2C is a higher ranking. Because of what? Because of, you can see here down below, because of the energy level and the LEL and UEL. Okay. This means gas group 2C more tendency to ignite, even though the environment condition there will be lead to the explosion risk. Then the risk more reduced when the material is grouping in the 2B, and the more less risk when the material is classified as a 2A. Okay, this also will be can be elaborated during the training as well. How they classify. This is not kalau dalam seminar ni rasa tak cukup untuk saya elaborate more. Not enough time to elaborate more actually. If you can ask in the question also, we can do some basic or summary of explanation. Okay, next slide. All right, area classification. Last but not least, we call it zoning. Why they classify as zoning? Because we want to identify what the critical risk of this area means. You have seen in the slide here, we have zoning character number. Zone 0, Zone 1, and Zone 2 actually. Which is Zone 0, sorry. Zone 0 means that particular substance or gas have present continuously in that area. It means all over around the way, material atau gas tersebut berada di kawasan itu. Okay. Kemudian for the Zone 1, it could present intermittently, which means kadang-kadang dia ada situ, kemungkinan dia tak ada, macam tu. And that, but this is some calculation must be done by the engineer there. That's why they classify there. And then zone 2. This is more less risk from the zone 1 and zone 0. When this zone 2 is the material or the gas there present abnormally. Normally, it could be present of the material there once something wrong in the process, some like a leaking or adjacent place between the zone 1. And this will be classified as zone 2 as well. You can see that also can be referred in NEC standards, which is maybe our participant here even familiar with NEC standard. We call it the division 1 and division 2. Okay, this is a particular similarity on this zoning classification. Alright. Okay, kalau kita tengok this area classification, this will be referred to IEC 679-10. This will be standard how they establish the zoning on the particular area. Let's say we have some plan arrangement in your working area, then you see many process equipment inside your plant, but we don't know how that your plant have segregate or identify the risk of your plant if this area classification is not established. Let's say you have some pump there, but you don't know how that particular pump having a risk of explosion risk, because no hazardous area classification is established in your process area. This will be difficult to you to identify how the risk will be, risk of explosion will be happen in this particular plant because of unavailability of this area classification documentations. This will be must be established first. Then during this documentation available, then inspector can be identify the risk and can inspect whatever suitable equipment or non-suitable equipment will be installed in that area, particular area actually. Okay, bermaksudnya kalau dokumen yang sepatutnya untuk area classification ini tidak dijana ataupun tidak diadakan untuk punya proses area, bermakna sahabat-sahabat semua bekerja di tempat yang ada risiko yang tinggi. Kita tidak tahu apa yang boleh berlaku di kawasan tersebut kerana tiada dokumen yang menyatakan area ini adalah area berbahaya, zon berapa. Okay. As we know, zon kosong adalah yang paling bahaya, zon 1 risiko yang sederhana, zon 2 risiko yang rendah. If that particular document is not mentioned which particular zone in your process area, that will be lead some wrong decision on your process operations. Will be lead to another disaster. Okay, this is why this EX must be established in the plant actually. Okay, remember we need to address safety first. Then this should be one of the safety parameters we should look into. Okay, right. Next slide. Right, we have the class and division system. As I said before, whoever familiar with NEC system, it could be a class as a class 1, division 1 or 2. Combustible dust is different class 2, division 2 or division 1. Fibers are flying. Combustible dust might be coal mining industry, food industry, like I said before, is a baby meat industry, flying and fibers, this might be cotton industry as well. Okay. And then the zone system. The system is more particular to the IECEx because IECEx using these systems. Okay. Gas, mist, and vapor only. The particular zone is zone 0, zone 1, zone 2, and for the dust, we use zone 20, 21, and 22 as missing down below here. Okay. Okay, next slide. Right, it's a subgrouping. Yeah, I tell you before on the previous slide. It's how the hierarchical system on the chart, how the group will be subdivision. Actually, we focus in the group 2 is more towards the gas and vapor. Group 3 is more to the dust area, dust industry. Because of oil and gas, we get more involved in this subgroup, group 2A to B to C. Okay. Okay, next slide. All right. This is a summary. If you go up to the training, this is a particular engineering control that will be established by IECEx or IECEx, or how to get this risk control by engineering practice or engineering design. Actually, you have many equipment on site, especially electrical and instrument. You can see explosion-proof equipment, which is familiar, we call it EXD. Okay, this particular equipment actually eliminate the spark or energy level that could be ignite the hazardous area. As we understand before, your particular area might be classified as zone 1, zone 2, zone 1, zone 2, zone 0, like that. This particular equipment is suitable for zone 1 and zone 2. Okay, this equipment has been designed to cater of risk of zone 1 and zone 2. Okay? That we call it explosion containment. Okay, this is a method of general principle. And then we have a segregation. Segregation means we eliminate one of. We remember back the fire triangle before this. We eliminate one of the element to eliminate the risk of ignition by segregate one of the element like this, pressurized, encapsulation, oil emission, and powder filling. EXP, ESM, ESO, and ESQ. Okay, the idea is EXP means they eliminate of presence of the substance inside the equipment itself. It means all the hazardous gas or substance will not enter the equipment. This is the general principle. Same as well with ESM and capsule. Because of the equipment already capsule, no hazardous substance will be entered into the equipment itself. It means no contact with the energy itself. Okay, and then we go to the prevention, increase safety. Okay, increase safety, more familiar, we call it EXE, right? How this EXE works? This equipment is designed to prevent to produce any arcade or sparking. This means this equipment is eliminate one of the fire triangle requirement by eliminate the sparking and arcing inside this design of the equipment. Same as well with intrinsic safe, we call it EXIA or EIB-IC. This particular type of protection they use limiting of energy on this protection concept. Let's say the flammable substance required some sort of energy limit. Let's say gas to C required 180 microjoule of energy, then that gas will be ignited. But in basic safety system concept, that energy and that in the particular equipment will be limit below that particular substance. That means 100 microjoule, 180 microjoule. That equipment only certified that maximum might be below 10, slightly below 100 or 80, something like that. Okay. Then this equipment can be approved to install in zone 0, zone 1, and zone 2. This is mostly of the equipment used in the instrument system actually. Okay. And then the last but not least, we have special protection. Okay. This one is a special design actually. Okay. And also the simple one, the simplest one is EXM. This EXM is actually a replicate of increased safety, but with slightly lower requirement with EXE. Then this EXM equipment will be recognized or approved for installed in zone 2 only. Okay. Okay, next slide. This is a particular equipment actually. Okay. Right. We go to the IECEx scheme. Okay. Once we know the equipment or hazardous area requirement, then we go to this IECEx scheme. What is the IECEx scheme stand for? What is actually this scheme do for us or do for the industry? Actually, this equipment, this scheme is established to address the manufacturing and then the standard itself, how the manufacturer need to get the standard reference they have to use, and then maintain the originality of the certificate. This is very important because in the market now we have a lot of so-called EX certified equipment in the market, but some the equipment only is follow their particular country standard. Let's say we have China made motor, but that motor or electric motor is manufactured or designed according to China standard, which is might be not accepted by other country. This IECEx scheme will be overcome on this particular problem actually. What they have do is number one is a reduce testing certificate cost to manufacturer, because all the item will be recognized by IECEx country. Actually now we have 180 something, or if I'm not mistaken 180 something country is recognized the IECEx scheme, which means once your equipment is certified by IECEx scheme, you have been able to market your equipment or be accepted used in this country. Let's say I believe in Indonesia and Malaysia. Is Malaysia for instance, we accept the IECEx certified equipment because kita tak mau ada basa-basi lagi because sometimes of contra of the standard used by manufacturer is most challenging to the project. We consume more time to doubt it, how they test, how they are certified. This can be overcome by IECEx scheme. Then will be gain the confidence in the product assessment as well. And then we have one international data listing. Everybody can go to the website, can check and verify all the equipment have the certificate be winning on that listing. If not have the winning certificate, that will be not appear in the website. Actually, it's a very good feature. Could be helped in our project expediting. All right. Go to the next slide. All right. What IECEx scheme can be offered? All right. First is equipment scheme, which is all the manufacturers over the world now keen to obtain the certification because of no barrier of the market strategy now. So they can market all the equipment in over the world because of acceptance of this equipment very wide now. And then service scheme. What is a service scheme for IECEx? It caters for, we know we have some equipment must be maintained and repaired by certified or competent company. This is a scheme came for. Because why? Let's say we have a rotating machine of equipment here, but the equipment is not maintained by certified or competent company, it will lead to void the certifications. Oh, sure, because they are not have a sufficient knowledge how to service or repair this equipment actually. So this particular scheme will be overcome the problem to avoid any mislook how to repair this equipment actually. Now we go to the fourth item is IECEx certified person. This one we want to elaborate more. What we are doing our tujuan ataupun malam ni kita punya tujuan yang utamanya adalah untuk how to be a certified person in IECEx scheme. Okay, means once you are a certified person, you are competent to work in EX field as per our my speaker Mr. Yanto bercerita tentang how that requirement is going to be used in the particular field, how important that particular field requires this certified person. Okay, we go to the next slide. Right, it's a code number in the IECEx scheme, the IECEx 02, 03, 04, and the particular personal competency is IECEx 05. Okay, this will be elaborate more how we can obtain this IECEx certification on personal competency. We in Malaysia, saya dengan Pak Yanto di Malaysia ni, sebelum ini kita just discover this scheme by website only, but we don't have any training provider all around in the Southeast Asia actually. Me as a pioneer in Malaysia, we are looking at a competency training. We have to go to the Europe actually. First roll up, I have to go to the Suhaili UK, which is the cost is very expensive actually. So now in this region now, especially Malaysia, we have some company, a few company already established the good system and good we call it a training program will be handled by actually in Malaysia. Exim Solution is one of a training provider for Malaysia, and also we do the some region as well, like Brunei and Singapore as well. Okay, next slide. All right. Before that, IECEx scheme there have some guide and rules to introduce to you how that system run. I'll give some overview that what the document you can obtain from the IECEx scheme. Okay, first equipment scheme you can refer to 02 rule of procedure and IECEx 03 for service facilities, conformity mark licensing for 04, and then 05 for personal competency. This is one more important to us now. You can refer to IECEx 05. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is number of operational document you can freely download at IECEx website. Actually, you freely download. Free. This is free. No need to buy this document actually. So I recognize you or propose to you, suggest you download this particular IECEx 05. How to obtain the IECEx competent person. This could be this number there. OD. OD stands for operational document 521, 507, 506, 505, 504, and so on. This particular you can read and download from this IECEx website free. Then you can start read how to obtain the particular scheme. So, but tonight I will give you some brief how to obtain this competency actually. Okay, next slide. All right, this certification body, all right? Actually, in all over the world, we have scheme number, and also we have the certification body which we can go for further examination or certification obtaining or on the assessment. We focus on IECEx 05 here. We have from Canada, France, Germany, Malaysia, Chile, we have Netherlands, and others, so on. We can refer to the IECEx website as well. This particular certification body, we call it EXCB, on short term, EXCB, can provide the assessment, all right? This particular CB is not providing any training actually. This only preparation how to you to obtain the certificate. You must go to this CB to get your examination actually. Okay, but to get your training or preparation before you go to the examination, we could provide with a pro-workers here. Later will be explained by our colleague here how to get the training. Right, next slide. Right, philosophy of the COPC. COPC, we call it COPC is competent personnel. The scheme of 05. Okay, the scheme established to consistent approach that we have referring one standards. That's why it's very recognized all over the world, because this scheme atau scheme ini dia hanya merujuk kepada IEC standard saja, dia tidak mencampur adukkan dengan, it's not mixed to other standard. This is why very useful on this particular requirement or guidance. Okay. It's assessed by individual. Dia hanya assess individual, bukan organisasi. Bermakna kalau bapa yang mendapatkan sijil ni, you have roll out this assessment. The certificate is awarded to you. It's not to the company. means you bear the certificate by yourself. Okay? It's not put in your company or what. Okay? This, and then this is a beauty one. The independent of training to remove conflict. This is why IECEx more acceptable by industry, because some of EX competency they are conducted by some organization, but the same organization will be conduct the assessment or the exam. It might be a conflict of interest happen there. This is in IECEx they're not allowed of this happen. Okay, the training provider is not from the EXCB itself, must be independent body or independent party from the IECEx. That's why how they maintain the conflict of interest. Right, next slide. Right, and then you can download this particular OD operation document. A lot of guidance there. I will recommend you to download this operation document and show the IECEx in the website. Particularly IOD 504. Okay, 504 specification unit of competency assessment. What unit you have to be obtained if you want to go have EX inspector. Okay, today or tonight we focusing on how to obtain the EX inspector, which is the industry need now more towards to the EX inspector. Actually, the specific unit competency, we have a lot of competency. Later I will show you what the unit competency have in the IECEx. This is quite different with others certification. Okay, next slide. Right. For the EX inspector, this particular standard series will be used or refer during the training. Training means we have to ensure that this preparation you must be familiar of towards the standard. 679 series, which means start from 0 to 31 actually. 31 is a more particular for equipment itself. And then part 14 is a electrical installation in hazardous area, also required as a EX inspector. You have to familiar how that equipment should be installed or shall be installed in the hazardous area. And then part 17. Part 17 is installation, inspection and maintenance. This is a critical one also. You need to have a knowledge in how that electrical inspection in hazardous area to be conducted and how the maintenance shall be conducted. This almost this particular part will be written here, how we need to go conduct our inspection. And then for further maintenance for repair and overhaul, we also recommend that part 19. This is some requirement need to be familiar with repair and overhaul. Let's say you have conduct the inspection, then you found that some particular equipment need to be repaired, then you have to particular follow the standard part 19, how that equipment shall be repaired. This is some idea on that. Okay. This standard can be purchased in IEC web store down below there. Yeah, this one you have to buy, or if you joining our training, this will be on the package. We can issue this standard, relevant standard to the participant later. Okay, if you want to go by yourself in the web store, also should be no problem. But I can say this pricing on this particular IEC standard is not cheap. One single part, let's say this part 14, is around 200 to 300 USD per copy. You can see how many copy you need to buy, and then it's not very cheap actually. Okay? So we giving you some tokens when you roll out in our training later for this particular standard. Okay, next slide. Right, this unit competency, which is all the unit having special competency levels. Okay, let's IECEx 01 is actually entry level. You must pass this level, and then other level you can obtain it after you pass of this 001 level. Okay, unit 001. For EX inspector, we recommend you to obtain the 01, 007, and 008 as a minimum, because this is industry needs. Because this 3 unit is particular required for EX inspector for time being, right? That's why in our particular training, we offer this unit first, because of the standard industry requirement, and also the OD 504 said that this particular unit should be satisfied for EX inspector competency. Also, different competency also offered by this IECEx scheme. 002 perform classification. Normally, this one is for design engineer, and also design of electrical installation, which is I obtained this unit once because I'm doing this design of electrical installation. This I should require this unit. Okay, and then perform audit 010. All right. Okay, next slide. Okay, limitation of scope. You can see that as a previous slide, I already explained you what the type of protection: DEI, HESD, ESE, ESI, and so on. Actually, for you obtaining this certificate, you can select your type of protection which is you have been familiar. Right? Let's say you have familiar with only 3 protection type. You don't want to obtain all these protection type because of you need to learn more on the theory, how that particular equipment need to be constructed, need to be inspect, need to be installed. Then you can to be select. Let's say you select EXD, EXE, and ESI, 4 items only. Then you can select on this particular assessment. Also the product type. Let's say you are familiar with rotating machine or switchgear, you can select this type of machine, type of product only. Okay. Group also we can select. Normally in oil and gas industry, we can select group 2 only. So the question of the assessment will not include mines and dust. And then the limit of range of voltage. This means if you're not involving in high voltage industry, you don't have any familiar with high voltage industry, you can select only low voltage. Then the question on the particular examination that you want to roll up will be limited to the what familiarity of your experience actually. Okay, next slide. Right, this scope limitation matrix. Okay, if you want to obtain 001 only scope of limitation, you can apply to the product. I mean the type of protection. Okay, type of protection only. If you want to log out to the unit 007 and 008, you can limit to the section 3 and 4 as a previous slide. Okay, 3 and 4 is a gas group and the voltage limit. But the 001 also apply. Okay, this is some idea how to segregate your limit atau experience limitation. Okay. Next slide. Okay, what the assessment criteria actually? As a pioneer in Malaysia, we have done this assessment quite extensively since I have been involved in this assessment for this IECEx actually from 2012, and we working with a few CBs. Then we know how to prepare the candidate, what needs to be for performance criteria need to be achieved before you go to the real assessment. Okay, the first one element is you have experience or knowledge how to prepare work in hazardous area. Okay, number one is nature of expression hazard. You have known that previous slide we have told you that fire triangle, everything. This is the useful information. What is a fire triangle actually? That will be asking in the examination. Okay, how the critical aspect of evidence. Let's say you have conduct the work permit and clearance procedure and SOP, everything. Yeah? Is some general requirement on this particular competency assessment. And then 1.2 is operation and condition plans. Okay? Some plan is required might be different with other particular company or particular country SOP. That's why the competent person need to adjust their competency, or they know what the limit of the safety limit, then have to adjust with operational requirement. That will be including the work permit, procedure, the specific plant operating will be varied with the plant owner or country or by company. And then 1.3, if that some plant or company, they don't have any established some procedure there, you as a competent person have advised the plant owner to establish the procedure, how that the correct working procedure to be done actually. This is a type of typical knowledge or theory that you have to obtain. Then have to show on the assessment paper how that particular three element has been correctly presented. Okay, let's say this 1.3 you have obtained that how that procedure to be written. Let's say this company has done any correct PTW procedure, then you have to establish the procedure to that company actually. This will be elaborate more on the training if you want to go to look up the training. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Right. And then the second element is observed condition and protection system area. Right. This will be could lead on item number 3, the first previous slide. 2.1 is occupational health and safety policy on that particular company or country. This might be different on particular company or country. So this must be fully addressed during the assessment, right? You have ability to observe what happened to this plant actually, even though let's say you go to the one plant, then you found that this plant have no isolation permits, okay, and then you have to establish the isolation permit. This is what we call a competent person do for the industry, right? Because you have the knowledge, you have to advise the plant owner, you have the competency, you have to advise the company how to establish the correct procedure to operate or operation this plant in correct manner according to IEC standard requirement. And then the last element is take action to limit the risk, right? Let's say you have once you doing the inspection in the particular plant or company, project or whatever, you have something, you found that that particular installation is not meeting the standard requirement. What action you have to be taken? It should be must be correct way. It should be I mean, you have to present your knowledge with correct proposal to the plant owner or to the company. This will be referred to the standard itself. If you giving some recommendation is not aligned with the standard, you shall be have a problem during the assessment actually, because you are not giving the correct solution to the according to the standard requirement. Okay, it's some element of criteria you need to be fulfilled. Okay, next slide. Okay, this a simplified roadmap how to be a competent personnel in IECEx scheme. All right, what we can do as a training provider, okay, we compile your individual experience documentations. We believe that bapak-bapak semua have been in the industry for a while. Maybe you have some different background. Maybe you have a more strong background in instrument only, or some will be strong background in electrical. We have to compile your individual experience to upgrade your skill. What you should be need or shall be need to obtain the assessment. Let's say you have strong knowledge in EXD, but you have less knowledge in EXI equipment. That will be customized in your skill and knowledge training. This is what is our training used for. We analyze your individual skill actually. Because of IECEx and COPC assessment, it will be focusing on your real experience actually. But if you don't have any sufficient knowledge on that, you said in your CV, in your individual experience, you said having experience in ESD equipment, but you don't actually, when we compare your experience, actually you doing the installation only, ESD equipment installation, but you don't have any inspection knowledge. And that's why in our training will be simplify what the need you need to be EF inspector. And then after we conduct the training, we submit your IECEx assessment application to the CB. Okay? And then after application successful, we conduct the assessment, and then the result obtaining, then your certificate will be online. This is a roadmap. Okay, how to conduct the your individual roadmap to obtain this certificate. Okay. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is a sample of certificate of IECEx. Is our colleague Pak Yanto ni. Kalau tuan-tuan bapak-bapak nampak ni, ini list of competency have been obtained by Mr. Yanto. Okay. This is a live certificate, online certificate. Nobody can steal it or modify it. It's controlled by IECEx itself. Nobody can steal from you. Okay. Right. Next slide. All right. General requirement on IEC. I'll be talking about a little bit about inspection and maintenance requirement. So basically, maintenance and inspection requirement, we follow IECEx, IEC 379 part 17, right? It's depending on country and particular company, they have some national standard might be complied with. Okay? Next slide. Right. What is the requirement on this EF inspection actually? So they have segregated into 3 types. Okay, we have type and grade of inspection. Number 1 is a type inspection. We have initial inspection, and then number 2 is periodically inspection. Then the last one is sample inspections. Okay, what is the difference of type inspection? Because they have in the standard have segregate of this type of inspection to normalize or manage the inspection in well manner. Because some inspection is quite different on method. Because different grade of inspection required on this particular types. Number 1 is initial inspection, means the equipment shall be inspected before the equipment is brought into the service. Okay, means kita ada project, cuba katakan kita new plant there. Before that new plant start up, all the equipment shall be inspected by EF inspector according to the IEC standard, inspect by certified inspector to ensure the equipment will be operate in correct manners or in standard requirement. This is a particular standard say part 17. That's why as Pak Yanto cakap tadi, this is quite important of the company and some regulation on the country. They want of this plant having control of their plant constructions. They want to ensure all the equipment have been installed and inspected correctly before plant startup. As we can see last year or last 2 years, Malaysia also have some plant, new construction having some incident because of their lack of initial inspections. Okay, this incident very bad in rapid. Yantho now know the incident because he working on that. Right? And then secondly is periodic inspection. This is a live plant or live platform which is operate more than 3 years or 5 years, for sure that equipment will be deteriorate, and some environment factor, the equipment need to be re-inspected because of a lifespan. This one also relate to the plant integrity. Okay, because of we want to know, we want to ensure what the integrity of the equipment until the latest condition on operational, because some of equipment will be deteriorate and might be some defect on that equipment will be lead to the failure of the equipment itself. This is also important to the operational of the plant. And then sampling inspection. Sampling inspection can be used on project itself. Let's say we have some ordered equipment. Let's say we have a particular project, let's say Gemusut project, last project in Yantho project. They have thousands of lighting equipment came in the warehouse. Okay, this equipment need to be inspected, but if you want to conduct the inspection 100%, that will be consume time. Then the project will be delayed. That's why sample inspection take in place. Let's say the consignment came in 1,000, let's say 3,000 in number, tag number. We could use this sample inspection, let's say 10% typical. Then after the sampling inspection will be done, they can conclude that this shipment can be accepted like that. All right. Okay, next slide. Okay, grade of inspection. We know that we have a type inspection before this, but in the type of inspection, could be some grade of inspection. Okay, we have divided into 3 categories also. We have visual inspection, close inspection, and detailed inspection. Visual inspection means the inspection we just use our naked eye to identify those defects that we use our naked eye. We found that some defect on that equipment actually, some sort like, for example, missing bolt on that equipment. We can see by our naked eye, bolt is not installed on that particular equipment. Let's say some defect have a puncture of the crack on the enclosure as well. This we categorize in visual inspection. And then the close inspection, we need to assess the equipment with particular touch by our hands. You see, we can identify this installation could be loose, could be not appropriate as a standard installation. Let's say the cable gland. From the naked eyes, the visual inspection, we saw that gland is already there, but already installed. But when we touch it, then we feel that the gland is not installed correct as per standard requirement. Since our inspection found that it's loose. This means by close inspection. Okay. And then it goes to the detailed inspection. This one is a very thorough inspection. We use our tools and equipment, everything. Let's say a test equipment, multimeter, our spanner, everything. This will be inclusive the internal of the equipment itself. Let's say in close inspection, we not open that equipment. Let's say we have a EXB box. We just touching by outside of the enclosure only. We not open the enclosure. But in detailed inspection, we have to open the enclosure and inspect the thoroughly inside and outside of the equipment. Inside means the component inside, how that component be condition the component is on the particular equipment. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is some typical example what we can found during the IECEx inspection. Basically, IECEx inspection more towards to additional item to the ENI inspection actually. So because IECEx equipment most probably is electrical and instrument item, but now as today we have mechanical equipment certified as IECEx equipment itself. Then now we have to go the latest one. Even the mechanical equipment such as compressor, pump also have a IECEx certifications. Now this particular IECEx inspection most goes toward the mechanical inspection as well. But it's this particular photo, we share to you the typical finding during the IECEx inspection. This IP washer or this particular gland installation is not per manufacturer or standard requirement because of misorientation of the seal washer. Okay? And then this one, the second one is the gland installation is not as per manufacturer recommendation or recommendation installation SOP because the missing of clamp ring or RSC ring. Okay, next slide. This one also by visual we can see that back seal of this clamp is over tightened. This comes with some sort of experience of inspection actually. By visual, the IECEx inspector know that this particular installation having a problems. Because they know seal is quite shrink there. Okay, and then the next photo is the hole is not blind, means particular IECEx equipment shall be installed by blank plug, certified blank plug. This one is a missing blank plug. It means by visual inspection, we can found that some defect on these installations. Okay, next slide. Right, this one for particular defect we found in at the site of particular project. Earthing cable is detached or not connected. Okay? This one very dangerous to the safety of the site actually. Right. Then the second photo is a particular EXD equipment, EXD motor. As we can see that the flame part, we call it flame part, or flame joint of this EXD motor have been corroded conditions. This very not good condition for this particular EXD motor because once it's a flame pass joint is corroded, the integrity of the equipment have been lost. This in mind of ini bermakna maintenance tidak dijalankan secara baik ya. Dan ini akan menyebabkan risiko failure of this equipment will be ignite the hazardous area. Alright, next slide. Okay, this typical inspection activities conducted by our colleague Bapak Yanto. Is some our project in Malaysia. As you can see that Pak Yanto having tough inspection inside as our project in his previous project as well in Shell Malikai, and also there's some project in Sabah and Johor. So have to lah, working in some environment tengah panas, sunny days. It's some challenge on a particular inspection. It's not some sometimes it's a very comfortable environment. But this one, I think, is very berbaloi. If you tengok dia punya gajinya, okay? Macam yang Pak Yanto cerita tadi, gajinya amat berbaloi walaupun bekerja di tengah panas. Okay, Pak Yanto ada nak cerita dengan this activity or inspection ni, sebab gambar-gambar Pak Yanto ni.
Oke, kalau kalian lihat di sini saya lagi lakukan detail inspection. Kalau di dalam penerangan Pak Suhaili tadi, apa itu visual cost detail. Nah, ini foto-foto ini saya lagi menjalankan detail inspection, di mana barang-barang itu ataupun equipment sebelum running ataupun hand over to commissioning for startup, kita harus buat detail inspection. Nah, detail inspection itu kita harus cek apa ya, mungkin some people in this room tonight bear experience in commissioning or supervise, ya. Sometimes supervisor and QC have different thought, ya. Jadi ketika kita menjalankan inspeksi ini, kita sudah refer specification, ya, spek yang refer tadi IEC 60079/417, ya. As inspector kita harus kuasai, ya. Nah, di dalam part 14 juga kita harus mengerti part 0 dan yang lain-lain. Jadi di sini apa yang saya mau sampaikan bahwa ketika kita memulai sesuatu ya di dalam inspeksi seperti ini, ya a bit not say difficult, but it's really meaningful and teaching us a lot more experience, ya, what we get. Like I said, mungkin di dalam ini ada bapak-bapak yang expert dalam commissioning, tapi commissioning and IECEx a different view of yang kita indikannya. Jadi kami sebagai IECEx Competence Inspector itu kadang-kala mereka bisa running, ya, mungkin mereka bisa sudah bisa bilang, oh ini semuanya nggak masalah, kita bisa running, especially boss need quantity, tapi kita as QC we always need to be a perfect, ya, perfect like quality, we need quality. So everything on site itu, kalau kita sebagai IECEx Inspector yang kompeten ke site itu, orang pada takut sama kita, ya, bukan kita hebat, tapi kita tahu spesifikasi dan what should be done. Ya, banyak orang yang di site itu, ya, mereka mau kerjanya as long as work done, but we are on site, we have to make sure everything in the right place. In the right place meaning kita harus tahu bahwa instalasi harus benar, grounding harus benar, dan kita harus cek yang seperti diceritakan tadi details. Nah, untuk pengetahuan semua ibu, bapak yang ada di dalam ini, it's just a little bit from what we should learn, ya. Kalau kita lihat tadi Pak Suhaili sudah, ya, ceritakan itu baru simple slide. Nah, kalau kita ataupun ibu atau bapak atau siapa adik-adik yang mau ngikutin kelas kompetensi itu, ambil waktu sekitar 4-5 hari untuk kita belajar semua notanya. Nah, IECEx bukan cuma satu. Kalau kita lihat OD tadi itu, OD itu operational document itu bukan cuma refer satu. Banyak orang yang saya lihat hari-hari ini yang baru qualified, mereka refer ke satu part saja seperti part 17. Nah, Pak Suhaili sudah bilang tadi, kalau kita lihat ke zoning itu, kita tidak bisa berpatokan kepada part 17 atau part 14 saja, dan itu punya requirement tersendiri di part 10, dan itu kita harus details. Nah, saya sangat sarankan kepada ibu, bapak yang ada di dalam webinar malam hari ini, supaya bisa bisa mengambil kompetensi ini. I tell you guys, you will not regret. Kalau kalian sudah ada kompetensi sebagai IECEx, you guys will be going along the way. There's a lot of project. Like I said tadi di permulaan ice breaking saya, bahwa Indonesia itu akan leading a very big project. And trust me, trust me, now setiap proyek yang ada di Indonesia sudah mulai referring ke IEC ya. Kalau kami sendiri saya sudah bicarakan tadi bahwa di PTS Petronas Standard itu sudah dimasukkan. I do believe very soon ya Pertamina akan masukkan hal ini. Nah, kalau di Mubadala itu di Indonesia sudah ada, dan kami sempat kemarin kerja sama dengan Mubadala juga, kami sudah masukkan, dan kami melihat bahwa potensi di Indonesia ya itu sangat besar untuk orang-orang muda, orang-orang yang bekerja sebagai profesional untuk mengambil IECEx ya, untuk kita competence ya. Jadi kedepannya saya percaya ini akan membuat kita lebih confidence with certificate ya, karena kita punya certificate, nggak bisa orang bicara sembarangan karena kita tahu dan kita punya certificate. Dan sekali lagi seperti disampaikan Pak Suhaili tadi bahwa certificate yang ada tidak bisa di-copy ya, tidak bisa di-copy, dan saya sarankan supaya supaya mengambil IECEx ini cukup bagus untuk future in Indonesia ya. I do believe there's a lot of project will come to Indonesia, like what I heard in Batam Beras Gas, Sophia project, Shell project. I will not mention first yet, but there's about 8 project akan masuk ke Indonesia yang saya sudah tahu dari teman ya. So ada sekitar 8 proyek. Itu tidak termasuk refinery yang akan dibangun di Kalimantan, dibangun di Balikpapan dan juga beberapa tempat ya yang sudah berjalan saat ini di Indonesia. So I do believe you will not regret. Kalian tidak akan menyesal kalau kalian ambil IECEx. Will be kalau kami di Malaysia itu will be mandatory. Setiap inspektor harus ada. Kalau saat ini, I do believe some people might say punya pengalaman, punya experience on-site, yes, but competence, we need competence to attach together the experience. So when you talk about your experience, you have a competency. You will bring along, you bring along and show to the people, and people will not say, ini inspektornya apa ini, tahu apa ini. Kalau kalian datang, kalian beda. So remember, I always advise you guys, young generation of people, bapak-bapak yang sudah mungkin expert di side ya, take this one as a good start ya. In Indonesia, sekali lagi di Indonesia saya belum lihat di web satu orang pun ada IECEx. Tapi banyak sekarang yang ada kompleks. Nah, ada teman-teman saya bilang, oh ini notanya komplit, ini baru permulaan. Ini belum kita ajarkan semua. Kalau kita ajarkan semua ya, IEC itu banyak sekali. Ya, banyak sekali yang kita harus refer. Ya, tapi you have no worries. Kalau orang berbicara tentang desain, kalian juga tahu karena kita punya kita punya reference document. Jadi don't worry. Kalian bukan cuma tahu construction, tapi kalian get very deep, ya. Mungkin next slide ya, sebelum kita masuk ada pertanyaan-pertanyaan, kita free untuk kalian tanya-tanya nanti. Tapi next slide dulu ya, next slide dulu yang kita punya ini. Okay, nah, I would like to say thank you again to Pro-Workers. Again and again. Pro-Workers will be leading IECEx in Indonesia as a training partner dari kami, Exim Solution. Kami akan bekerja sama untuk mentrain, ya. We would like to train people in Indonesia to sharing the knowledge. Ya. Jadi Pro-Workers juga dikenal seperti Pak Aga bilang tadi bahwa Pro-Workers is helping people ya to find a job. It's not a LinkedIn, but they're going straight away ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat Pro-Workers ini dia bukan cuma menyiapkan pekerjaan, tapi saat ini mulai ya melatih. Pro-Workers juga ada DCS ya, mereka ini expert di DCS. Dan kenapa kita mau kerjasama sama Pro-Workers? Because we see the future ya. Kami melihat sesuatu yang luar biasa di Pro-Workers yang kami bisa kerjasama untuk build a young generation, expert, ataupun orang-orang yang sudah hebat di Indonesia, kita tinggal perlengkapi dengan sertifikat IECEx. Ya. Jadi ini adalah details ya, kalian bisa foto, kalian bisa screenshot ya, dan bisa ambil nomor teleponnya ya. Very soon kami akan conduct IEC training ya as a competent. Malam hari ini webinar kita cuma sharing tentang what is IECEx dan roadmap-nya ya, tapi kita akan ke depan kita akan buat IECEx 001 dan kita akan ambil kompetensi untuk inspektor ataupun supervisor, juga manager ataupun owner plant ya. Kita akan mulai training 01, 001, 007 dan 008. Yes, very soon in Jakarta or either in Batam ya. Jadi malam hari ini saya kayaknya sudah 2 jam. Saya buka untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan, kalian bisa buka mic-nya ataupun sudah ada pertanyaan-pertanyaan tadi, moderator bisa membacakan. And then again, so those people not speaking Indonesian, no worries, you can write, you can chat us on the chat. You can ask you any question. I do believe there's a few people from UAE and from Philippines, or those people not speaking Bahasa Indonesia just now. Whatever that you need to know, you can type there. You can chat with us, and then we will answer your question. Yeah. Thank you again for every one of you. Ya, terima kasih. Ada teman saya di dalam ini, ada Pak Bernard yang memang sudah bekerja di project dan dia tahu bahwa sangat penting IECEx ini ya. So thank to pro workers. I do believe that we will work together. We will help people. We will train people to become expert and competent in Indonesia very soon. Ya, oke. Setakat itu malam hari ini dari saya dan Pak Suhaili. Mungkin ada pertanyaan, kita buka dulu atau moderator aja. Coba.
Oke,
silakan
Pak. Terima kasih.
Kita kasih aplaus dulu nih kelihatannya nih Pak.
Pak Yanto dan Pak Suhaili, luar biasa. Penjelasannya cukup terperinci, terus juga buat saya sih jadi tahu lah, walaupun saya belum pernah di bidang itu gitu. Saya buat catatan-catatan kecil gitu, jadi ada pengetahuan yang saya dapat. Thank you, Mr. Suhaili. Oke, mungkin kita masuk ke sesi tanya jawab. Boleh di chat atau boleh raise hand biar nanti di open mic-nya sama host kita. Ada yang mau bertanya, silakan.
Kalau sudah di screenshot ininya trainingnya nggak apa-apa, bisa tampilkan semua. Jadi kalau ada yang mau bertanya silakan, nggak masalah, jangan malu. Ya, no worries, kita aja feel home aja ya, feel home aja supaya kita nih ya, itu aja.
Okay, this one question from Mr. Sulaiman. Bagaimana cara mendapatkan OL license-nya? Right? Daripada slide tadi, kita ada cerita dia punya roadmap. Okay? Roadmap tu menunjukkan ataupun bagaimana cara dia start from scratch, how to obtain the IECEx, the competency certificate. Alright? Jadi yang pertama, kalau melalui dengan pro workers, kita sama dengan Exim Solution Malaysia ni, as a training providers, experience training providers from Malaysia, we have conduct a lot of competency assessment. Before this, started from 2010. Actually, I think Exim Solution, one of the approved training provider in Malaysia by Syrians. We having ataupun sudah membina satu prosedur, a good procedure how to obtain the certification actually. Yang pertamanya kita perlu adakan candidate profiles. Okay. Candidate profile mungkin tidak sama dengan Bapak A dengan Bapak B. Maksudnya begitu. Might be A lebih experience on instrument items, but less experience in electrical. Jadi kontranya dengan kandidat yang kedua tu berbeza sedikit, might be dia lebih kepada mechanical item saja. Jadi kita tengok based on that particular profiles, we do need advise the particular particular candidate tu, what the basic or essential knowledge that need to bilang. Maksudnya standard mana yang dia perlu perbanyakkan dia punya knowledge dia. Then masa training tu kita akan buat some we call it pre-examination to measure your level of knowledge. Then after that, we advise you back what the requirement need to be gain more. So then we can advise, kita boleh advise juga sama ada kandidat tersebut tu sudah mencapai tahap untuk bersedia untuk pergi ke the next level, itu pergi ke examination punya rollout. So daripada training tu kita akan guide you macam mana you nak bilang you punya knowledge and experience, and then ada dua skill, ada dua element. Satu is knowledge, satu is skills. Alright, knowledge we will begin in the theory class, and the skill and we gain on the practical class. We have a practical class as well for inspection and maintenance. We have some sort of punya layout nanti how to conduct the IECEx punya IECEx punya inspection requirement. Then from that you will gain something. Then we assess you have some sort of kesediaan, sama ada boleh ke tak boleh untuk you go further. From that you have some confident level on that particular requirement. Then to go out to the assessment, we want to our participant having best punya kesediaan lah before out the actual exam. Then after you go to the exam, the result obtaining, then you have the certifications. Okay, that's the answer.
Oke, Wali, ada satu question.
Ada lagi nih beberapa pertanyaan nih.
Ya, coba kalau bisa.
Mau
coba
langsung
kalau bisa dibacakan ya.
Oke, saya bacakan ya. Tadi sudah pertanyaan pertama dari Pak Sulaiman, bagaimana cara mendapatkan sertifikatnya. Terima kasih sudah dijawab sama Pak Suhaili. And then the second question from Pak Hari Kusnomo. Oke, Pak Hari Kusnomo. Halo Pak Hari Kusnomo, selamat malam. Oke, pertanyaannya, in which temperature class atau zone is it permitted to install equipment with temperature class T3 and T4?
Okay, this is a more technical punya question ni.
Okay, yes, technical, yes.
Yes, Pak Hari ni memang sudah tahu ni requirement ni. Okay, for the jawapannya, this particular T3 dan T4 temperature class of hazardous area, the means of equipment suitable to install is more towards to ataupun lagi besar nilainya daripada T3 dan T4. Sebagai contohnya, kalau temperature class area itu adalah T3, bermakna T4, T5 dan T6 dibolehkan untuk install di kawasan tersebut. Dan jikanya temperature class yang di dalam hazardous area classification itu dikelaskan sebagai T4, bermakna temperature class T5 dan T6, T5 dan T6 is permitted to install in that zone ataupun that area.
Okay, thank you.
Ya.
Iya, itu juga ada di slide tadi, Pak. Jadi nanti mungkin boleh chat ke pro workers, kita bisa share juga, Pak. Don't worry ya, kita kita bisa share yang ini, because we willing to share ya. Jadi because we need also people ya to taking care the plan ya. Jadi seperti yang kita lihat tadi, banyak platform-platform yang orang nggak jaga ya, bahkan ya kita melihat bahwa semuanya baik. If nothing happen, semuanya baik. Saya experience Pak ya di beberapa platform yang saya inspect itu, kalau saya naik, orang bilang di situ ataupun OIM-nya ataupun manajer bilang, what should we do? Nothing happen, because nothing happen. That's why we not doing, no, it's not the right way. That's why yang begini-begini kita mau willing to share ya. Dengan Bapak tadi bagus sekali pertanyaannya. Orang ini sudah mengerti sih. So it's really good question. Next ya.
Oke, terima kasih atas jawabannya Pak Suhaili. Selanjutnya pertanyaan ketiga, the third question from Kukuh Priambodo. Oke, selamat malam Pak Kukuh. Oke, pertanyaan dari Pak Kukuh, what is different between IECEx and Complex? Oke, mungkin Mr. Yanto or Mr. Suhaili, monggo.
Oke, as we know, dalam industri of EX punya seluruh dunia ni, all over the world, there are some of set of certifications. The popular one is now is IECEx and Compact actually, right? Actually, the Compact is established first in Europe region, which is this particular Compact is a requirement from Shell Europe itself, right? The difference between Compact and IECEx, Compact is established by requirement of Shell itself in Europe country. And then they have a series of standard might be referred to this training or this certification. Let's say you obtain this Compact training and certification in Netherlands, let's say di negara Belanda, and then you have to refer to the Netherlands standard. Okay, then you have to might be some European country standard as well. So the question and the competency will be based on this particular country standard. While IECEx is referring into only one standard only, while this Compact in European might be different. If you conduct this Compact certification in Netherlands, will be refer to Netherlands standard, and British and UK, we have to refer to the British standard. These are some sort of different standard we have to familiar. And this is different on IECEx. Only one standard, we refer to the IC 679 standard. Will be more uniform to the whole requirement. So might be on the particular standard project. Let's say this Compact personnel having project requirement in Australia, but the competency of the Compact certificate is obtaining by Netherlands standard. There are some different on that requirement, might be contradicting with the particular Australian standard. That will be the difference. The second is Compact is conducted by private school or private training provider, which this provider is audited by JTL. JTL is based on Europe in UK. Means this particular training provider will be conduct the training, and the same provider will be conduct the examinations. These are some of chances that will be conflict of interest on this. Biasanya kalau the student is a favorite of this instructor, might be pass. This student is not a favorite of this instructor, might be fail. There's some issue on that. While IECEx it is not allowed that CB, mean certification body, to conduct the training. The training must be conducted by
Oke, mungkin maaf Mr. Suhaili saya potong, mungkin bisa lebih singkat karena ini masih ada beberapa pertanyaan nih Mr. Suhaili.
Iya. Oke. Itu yang bedanya
Ya,
lah.
kayaknya, sorry, kalau Mr. Suhaili memang explanation-nya agak panjang karena pertanyaan walaupun singkat, tapi we have to explain. Ya, tapi nggak apa-apa Pak ya. We can keep in touch. Coba ini aja, you can join ini dulu Pro Workers, nanti kita bisa answer. I do believe you guys ada yang kompleks, ada pertanyaan juga beberapa ini, tapi
masih banyak yang penasaran Mr. Yanto. Ini ternyata masih banyak yang penasaran dan antusias.
No worries. Kenapa mereka mau tahu perbedaan kompleks dan IECEx itu? Karena ada sebagian yang sudah di kompleks. Nah, requirement sekarang mulai di Indonesia IEC. Nah, banyak proyek yang masuk di Batam itu mereka mau IEC, dan audit untuk Indonesia saat ini untuk platform yang sudah berjalan sekian tahun itu, puluhan tahun itu, mereka mulai requirement IEC. Nah, apa yang Pak Suhaili sudah sampaikan tadi bahwa ada sedikit ya, tapi kita di sini bukan tidak bilang bahwa kompleks itu tidak benar dan sebagainya, itu refer, dan kompleks sendiri itu mengikuti mereka reference ke IEC, bahkan the country lah biasanya dia refer ke Europe punya standar lagi kalau kompleks. Kalau kita IEC purely IEC.
Yes, some training provider for compact, let's say macam Singapore, dia on that particular training dia refer to IEC as well. Dan kemudian might be dia guna IEC juga. Cumanya dia tak standardize between country to country punya training provider.
Oke. Mungkin gimana, satu pertanyaan lagi atau kita
Iya, mungkin satu lagi karena waktu kita ya, ini waktu kita, jadi minta maaf Bapak-bapak, time kita ini kita cuma we are trying our very best to introduce IEC ya. I believe kalian juga ada yang sudah expert di sini, tapi kalau mau personal chat, go to Pro Workers, nanti dia kontak ke kita ya. Jadi
kita pasti akan jawab di luar ini. Pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang belum terjawab kita rangkum, akan kita jawab.
Iya, boleh Pak.
Oke. Mungkin satu lagi ya, terakhir nih ya. Oke.
Yang mana tuh?
Dari Pak Frederick Mahardika. Is this certificate valid for us to insert in our CV? That's the question. And does this certificate have a limit or what?
Once you obtain this certificate or competency certifications, you can put in whatever CV or profile you have, because you already obtained the certifications. This means you are a competent person, which is recognized by IECEx. Then you can use whatever competency you have. That, let's say you have obtained one unit 01, 07, 08, which means you are recognized as a EAC inspector, right? About the limit, once you pass the exam, you have 5-year validations, right? 5 years, same as a compact, right? After that, if you want to renew the certification or want to put additional unit of competency, let's say unit 003, 004, will be continued another 5 years. It's a beauty of the IECEx certifications. If this is quite different again, is with a complex, which is you have to need to go to the refresher, and you have to still have the same competency unit. Let's say compact have a 0, 01, 02, 03, and 04, which is for EAC inspector and installer and maintenance.
Oke, cukup jelas ya, Mr. Pak Frederick. Jadi kompetensi apa aja bisa, berpunya 5 tahun ya, Pak Suhaili ya?
Ya, 5 tahun.
Oke. Selanjutnya mungkin dari Pak Gorga, ada yang mau disampaikan? Silakan Pak Gorga.
Ya, thanks a lot Pak Suhaili, Abang Suhaili dan Pak Yanto. Senang sekali kita sudah 2 jam lebih nih, 2 jam 17 menit dan yang masih semangat sekali nih. Appreciate sekali Pak Abang sama Pak Yanto yang sudah menyampaikan dengan sangat jelas sekali dan itu sangat berguna buat kami semua nih, semua yang attendance dan juga bagi Bapak Ibu, teman-teman semua yang sudah bergabung dengan webinar pada malam hari ini, kami dari Proworker menyampaikan ya welcome, terima kasih sekali sudah sudah sangat berminat untuk bergabung dengan kita. Dan di sini saya perkenalkan diri saya dengan Gorga Simanulang, itu saya sebagai CEO untuk PT Kalib Teknologi. Dan juga untuk Proworker. Nah, kami di sini ada 2 yang Proworker adalah anak perusahaan dari PT Kalib Teknologi dan ini kami kembangkan Proworker adalah untuk sebagai service company di mana ini berguna buat teman-teman, Bapak Ibu semua sebagai kendaraan untuk mendapatkan pekerjaan yang pas, sesuai dan cocok pada Bapak Ibu. Dan juga buat perusahaan yang mencari pekerja yang cocok dengan talent yang dicari. Dan nantinya kami berharap Bapak Ibu bisa masuk ke web kami kunjungi web kami yaitu www.proworker.id. Nah, di situ bisa register dan nanti di situ ada banyak vacancy di sana yang mungkin Bapak Ibu bisa apply di sana. Sekali lagi makasih banyak buat semua, especially for those who guys coming from overseas. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining our webinar. And if you have any question, you can directly text to us, and also you can visit our website www.proworker.id. Thank you. And also thank you for Eka Wardia as a moderator, and also our team. Big highly appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you. Silakan dilanjutkan Pak Eka.
Oke, mungkin sebelum saya tutup kita foto bersama dulu nih buat kenang-kenangan gitu kan. Mohon dinyalakan kameranya.
Kalau nggak salah ada itu Pak Eka, ada apa itu hadiah atau apa yang mau dikasih buat
itu untuk yang 3 penanya tadi Pak.
Oh oke, siap.
Yang nanti yaitu Pak 4 penanya, Pak Sulaiman, Pak Fredrik, terus selanjutnya ada yaitu nanti kita hubungi Pak, kan ada grupnya ya, nanti akan kita japri direct. Gitu untuk pemberian merchandiser. Nah, mungkin bisa kita nyalakan kameranya sama-sama teman-teman yang lainnya, Bapak-bapak sekalian. Kita akan Pak Herman, boleh dibantu Pak Herman untuk pendokumentasian Pak Herman?
Wow, ada Siti Fatima yang saya baru lihat. Terima kasih ya udah gabung ya. So no worries, feel free ya to kontak ya. Banyak teman-teman ya yang ini semuanya. Terima kasih buat kehadirannya malam hari ini. Those people not speak Indonesian, thank you very much again. Yeah, nice to be here with you guys tonight. Yeah, so hopefully. In near future, we will conduct in Jakarta or either in Batam, and we would like to see this fest to come and join us. Yeah.
Gimana Pak Herman? Udah Pak Herman?
Kasih jempol.
Halo Pak Herman. Mana aba-abanya Pak Herman?
Ya.
Iya, udah Pak.
Udah. Oke. Pak David, bisa dibantu Pak David untuk pendokumentasian. Gimana kita gayanya Pak David? Mungkin kita angkat jempol, 2 jempol ya, karena kita sampai jam 9:30 nih, masih tetap semangat buat untuk ngikutin webinar ini. Terima kasih, saya sangat mengapresiasi kehadiran Bapak dan Ibu sekalian sampai dengan pukul 9:30 malam ini. Gimana? Udah diambil Pak Herman atau Pak David?
Sudah Pak.
Sudah.
Oke,
terima kasih.
Ya,
terima kasih
semua,
kepada
teman-teman.
para speaker, Pak Gorga, para tim, dan juga terutama kepada para attendance. saya ucapkan apresiasi yang sebesar-besarnya atas kehadirannya. Selanjutnya, jika ada salah kata atau kata-kata saya yang kurang baik, mohon dimaafkan. Sampai kita ketemu di webinar selanjutnya. Saya Wardi Eka dan tim undur diri. Terima kasih.
Makasih semua.
Terima kasih.
Pak Gor, Pak Suhaili, kita
Ya,
stay dulu ya
Pak
sebentar.
Suhaili.
Thank you Pak Korsa.
Thank you.
Sama-sama Pak.
Pak Gorga, Pak Suhaili,
Pak
kita stay
Andri
sebentar ya.
ada di sini. Oke.
Oke, Pak David bisa diambil alih, Pak David.
Ya, oke. Mungkin bisa live aja dulu, nanti kita bikin.
Iya.
Ya.
Oke.
Iya, boleh kita close aja dulu ya.
Oke. Terima kasih. See you.